Hello everyone, welcome back to Pachehra Talks. Today we are going to talk about or rather secure Azure Container Registry. And before we talk about all the ways we can secure the Azure Container Registry or the best practices to use it, we should little bit talk about what it is, right? We will not go in deep like Azure administration or architecture, but yeah, we need to just refresh our mind regarding ACR. So if we need to just understand what it is, because from last couple of videos we know ACR was there when we were talking about AKS, we talked about ACI or maybe Azure App Services, anywhere where we are using Docker images to run the container, we need a repository, and Azure provides Azure Container Registry for that, which means ACR is a managed private Docker registry. Okay. And it allows you to store and manage container images for all types of container deployments. So all type of container deployments means we can use this ACR for Kubernetes, for app services, for ACI, or any service in Azure or maybe outside Azure which runs Docker images. So it could be private and public. Okay, private and public. All right, so now we understand what it is. It's a managed container registry, and it is managed by Microsoft. We only need to create it. It could be private and public, and it can be used for all type of deployments. Now, one more thing we should add here regarding ACR. What ACR is built upon? We understand it's a Docker registry, but what is this ACR is built on? So it is built on our open source. Any guesses? If you are guessing Docker registry, then you are correct. It's Docker registry 2.0. That's what ACR uses. And now, because of this and MS functionalities, it provides several advanced capabilities. Okay, so what are those advanced capabilities? So, advanced capabilities like geo replication. Okay, this will help you to build your DR as well. It can also provide you automated container image builds. Okay, so if you are wondering regarding what is this automated container image build, well, it means that ACR can automatically create container images whenever you update your source code. So if we are using containers and talking about all these modern applications, so it is assumed that we guys are deploying through CI/CD. So which means whenever we update the source code, when you push new code to the repository, not this ACR, but the repository like your GitHub or Azure repos. So build triggers, right? So the update triggers a build process in ACR, and ACR pulls the latest code, compiles it, and package it into the container image. All right, so this is what I'm referring here. This referring the MS doc is referring here. Now, another one is integrated security features. These are some advanced functionalities or features or capabilities. Okay, integrated features, security features. And what are those integrated security features? Well, like vulnerability scanning and option of content trust, access control and network security like private link, access control like integration with the Azure AD or Entra ID or RBAC, right? So these are the advanced capabilities. So this is what is ACR in a nutshell. Okay, and these are some features that we talked about. And it has all those features that Docker provides, like you can have tag, you can have image, you can have a repository and registry. uh, what's the difference between repository registry? Well, within a registry, repositories hold different versions of container images, okay, within a registry. For example, a repository named my app could hold different tagged version like my app v1, my app v2. Okay, so registry we can have multiple repository, and repositories we can have multiple images. Same image has multiple tags. Okay, that's how it works. So if we need to think for use cases, well, we have already talked about all the deployments. So all those are or could be wonderful use cases, right? So just for the sake of a video, so that we can make a point, for example, integrating ACR with the CI/CD pipelines to automate the build and deployment of container images. That could be a wonderful use case. Using geo-replication to replicate container images across multiple Azure regions for high availability, or DR. Another use case. Use case to use ACR. Now, scanning container images for vulnerabilities and managing image lifecycle policies to ensure that only secure and compliant images are deployed is another use case. Whenever you are using such services where you have to keep your images secure, uh, so go with the ACR. All right, so let's talk about the ways we can protect our ACR or images, protect or secure. So the very first thing is, whenever we have image somewhere, is who is accessing what they're accessing. So authentication and authorization. And we have already talked about it has those integrated security features. So here, Entra ID is something which is there, which can help us implement least privileged principle for RBAC from administration. And we can also enable the integration like ACR update name the container registry and admin enabled is equal to false. This kind of code you can simply use to integrate your Entra ID. And so yeah, authentication authorization could be uh, used as per the role and least privileged principle. Now, that is the first part. The second thing is, so somebody is accessing, the first defense is done, who is accessing. Now, how it is working is the second defense layer, which is network security. Now it could be public, like anyone can access, or it could be private. You can do that. You can also utilize Azure private link to access ACR over private endpoint in your virtual network only, and block everything from the public internet. So we can have both the option. If you want somebody to access from the public, it can be public, but to make it secure, you should make it private or add private endpoint or private link. Okay, so network security. Now we have saved who is accessing. We have saved or protected how they are accessing. Now what they are accessing is this something that we should be protecting, and that is our data. So by default, ACR automatically encrypts your data at rest. So at rest, it is encrypted by default. Okay. Pardon my spelling mistakes. Anyways, it also supports customer managed keys. Okay, so use your own encryption keys stored in Azure Key Vault for more control over the encryption. Then data is done, like what we are accessing. Now whatever is there, apart from data, like images are there, right? So let's call the images. So we want that images up to date. We do not want any vulnerabilities in those images. So image scanning and vulnerability management, we should think for this. Hence we need to opt for MS Defender for cloud, MS Defender for cloud, or MS Defender for ACR or containers. So it integrates ACR with MS Defender, and it will scan all the images there. Whatever changes you do, it automatically scan everything images. So that's how you can manage the vulnerabilities. And then all these things are happening, we should keep an eye on it, like what is happening, how it is happening, which means we should have proper monitoring and logging in place. So use Azure Monitor and Log Analytics for that purpose, which will give you all the insights that you need. Then you should have only the trusted image in your repository. Only the signed images should be there or can be pulled from the registry, verifying the integrity and publisher of the images. So we need to enable content trust. It supports ACR supports it. All right, so these are some practices to secure our ACR before we start using it. And yeah, I think that's all about the protection, but we can talk about a little bit what are the different offerings in on ACR. So what are the different offerings? Well, we have three types of offering here: the basic SKU, standard SKU, and the premium SKU. Okay, three types. Now, all these three tiers provide almost same programmatic capabilities. Uh, they all benefit from the image storage managed entirely by Azure. Like everything is almost same. The only changes are choosing a higher level tier provides more performance and scale. Okay, so what is there? The access plus storage, right? So if we are going on a higher tier, we will have access will remain the same, but we will get more storage. And that's how the pricing is happening. Okay, from access, and premium also give you geo replication, and of course more storage along with all these things. Okay, so these tiers provide you almost the same programmatic capabilities. However, higher tiers have some more features like geo replication, more storage. And why I'm talking about this, let me show you. Okay, now we are here on the Azure Container Registry pricing. You can see we have three SKUs, three tiers: basic, standard, and premium. This is the price per day. Okay, and then it include the storage. This per day price include the storage of 10 GB, 100 GB, and 500 GB. This is what I was talking about. And if you talk about geo replication, only premium provides you that. Okay, so what happen if you go for the basic option or tier and use more than 10 storage? Then you have to pay for the extra storage. Okay, so let's take an example. Let's get back to our here. Now let's take an example. If you purchase a basic tier registry, it includes a storage of 10 GB. The price you pay here is 0.167 per day. There that shows in the pricing calculator I showed you. Now, if you have a basic tier registry and use 25 gigs storage, you are paying 0.003 per day. Okay. And what is the extra storage? 15 gigs is the extra storage. Then you have to multiply per day into 15. Okay. Then it would become 0.045 per day for the additional 15 gigs. So the pricing for the ACR with 25 gig storage is the default 0.167 plus the extra charge of the storage, which would be 0.045. Okay, so that's how the pricing happens. These are the tiers, and that's all about it. Well, I hope it was interesting and you liked it. Well, thank you for watching, and you guys have a wonderful day. Bye bye.